we were saying is, it's a chance. Well, why not? Nothing else seems to work.
Wait a minute. Enlarge the image.
Did I just see what I thought I saw?
Sure did. The candidate left his book on the podium.
Well, I'll be.
Doesn't seem to have noticed.
Cross your fingers. I want that book. I have a feeling it'll tell us plenty. Everything we need to know.
If we can decipher it.
Get on the phone and call the floor now. Tell one of the aides to pick it up with a stack of papers. Anything. Stage a distraction if necessary, but get it.
Okay.
That book may turn out to be the most important one ever written. Here or anywhere else in the known universe.
What's the trap?
Well, Chambers?
Almost got it. What have you got? For starters, a migraine headache and a bad case of eye strain.
Yeah, we're wasting our time. He can't lick it.
Not in 8 hours, I can't, Colonel. It took almost a year to crack the Japanese code in World War II, and they had an army of experts working on it. This is the language of people from outer space, probably 500 times as intelligent as we are and 1,000 times more complex.
You need help?
All donations gratefully accepted. I showed this book to everyone on my staff, and I've had a dozen people working on it since late last night.
And you must have some idea.
See for yourself. I've tried pretty much everything. Single transposition, double transposition, every method of cryptography there is. Nothing seems to work on these pages. They're more like hieroglyphs, but with no known pictographic references.
Is that what they are? Hieroglyphs?
They have certain things in common with ancient Egyptian writing, but much more complicated. And we have no Rosetta Stone to decode it. So I can't honestly say whether we're any closer now or if we're still a million miles away.
So you can't decipher it?
We can keep trying, that's all. Standard, reverse, direct, systematically mixed, keyword mixed, random mixed, reciprocal conjugate, every sequence we can come up with. But I can tell you something right now, Colonel, both of you. This is a tough nut. A real tough nut. If it weren't so important.
It must be. That candidate, or whatever he calls himself, made reference to it every third line in his speech.
The White House agrees. If we could understand this book, we might be able to decipher the candidates themselves.
I'm beginning to wonder if they need decipher.
What?
Well, they've done all right by us so far.
You mean their demonstrations? Parlor tricks?
They don't seem like parlor tricks. That nitrate device they used in Argentina this morning. Now the soil has more vitamins in it than a health food store.
That doesn't prove anything.
I know that part of the country. It's as barren and fruitless as any place on earth. And there are actually weeds growing in it. 6 hours after the nitrate process.
And the answer is in this book.
It might be. And we might lick it or we might not. But I've got a strange feeling.
That what?
That we're looking a gift horse in the mouth. And I've got another funny feeling too.
And that is?
That if these candidates are as helpful as I think they are, you two boys will be out of a job, and so will I, in all probability. And very likely so will the whole UN. You won't need armies, or navies, or air forces, or security forces, or world courts. Or all jobs.
Am I to assume, Mr. Chambers, that this is a site?
I gotta see what's going on here. They're gonna be like, oh, we don't need you anymore because there's gonna be peace and all's gonna be good. And I'm like, oh, now we need our fucking job. Okay.
Analysis, or just some Kentucky windage? I don't know what it is, Colonel, beyond an instinctive feeling. Same feeling tells me that when everyone on Earth gets enough to eat, when there aren't any more wars or diseases or famines, this world is going to be a garden of Eden that stretches from pole to pole.
Your optimism is refreshing, Mr. Chambers. But for the time being, I consider it a personal favor, not to mention a direct order from the Chief of Staff, that you continue your efforts regardless of how your feelings change.
Wow.
Keep deciphering until you break this code or language or whatever it is, and tell us precisely what the bloody book says.
I'll do my best. No promises, though, John. Now, let me get back to work.
Jim, I think we
What is it, Pat?
tried a new computer sequence.
And
Look at this. We've got the title, anyway.
You translated it. Are you sure?
What does it say?
This is an overlay. Place it over the cover of the book, like a template.
you're going to get a promotion out of this. You know that, don't you?
No, it wasn't just me.
Well, that makes the cheese a little more binding.
Let me see.
See, with our visitor's little textbook, there's a very simple title right here on the cover.
Well, what does it mean?
What does it look like? I'd call that a fairly altruistic phrase, wouldn't you, Pat?
I'd like to. It does seem unambiguous.
It certainly does. It's a hand. That's all.
What does it say?
Right?
The title for yourself.
To serve man.
This book is a set of instructions about how to do exactly what they've said. To help us, to help the world. How much clearer do you want it? They came here to serve man. That was the title of the book, no doubt about it. Pat and the rest of the staff hadn't done it. They had come up with a template that deciphered the symbols on the cover word for word. It was a place to start. And the most important, at least we had confirmation of the Canaanites' intentions. Everything they had said was quite literally true. They were here for our sake. Of course, not all governments would be as easily persuaded, so at a closed session of the Security Council, our visitor was put to the test. Pentagon provided credentials so I could attend, and I jumped at the chance. This was one meeting I couldn't afford to miss. If it went according to plan, the world would find out once and for all what, if anything, the Canaanites wanted for themselves, and whether the price, if there was one, was something Earth could afford to pay. Though I, for one, didn't expect any surprises. Would you? Never in a million years.
Gentlemen, let's begin. If you'll please be seated. The purpose of this meeting is to acquaint you with certain tests conducted over the past week. At the request of several delegates, and with the full consent of our guests, the Canaanites, these tests were photographed and recorded. You may now view the results. The tests were conducted by members of the National Science Academy and witnessed by a team of experts. If you'll watch the monitor at the front of the room. Lights down, please. Begin the tape.
This machine is a polygraph, a standard instrument for measuring the proof or falsity of a statement. Since the physiology of the Canaanites is unknown to us, our first objective is to determine whether they react to these measurements as human beings do. We will now proceed with a dry run to establish a baseline reading. Ready? I trust our small chair is not too uncomfortable?
Not at all.
Oh, we got big
The
chairs.
sensor attached to the torso registers the pulse rate. The second attachment shows electrical conductivity in the palm of the hand as perspiration increases. And the third connection shows the pattern and intensity of electrical waves emanating from the brain. With human subjects, these readings vary markedly, depending upon whether the subject is speaking the truth.
I understand.
Then let us begin. And please answer the questions as I instructed you previously.
Very well.
Regarding the relative size of Canaanites and human beings, tell me if you would, which is taller, a human or a Canaanite?
Humans.
I shall now repeat the question. Which is taller than the other, a human or a Canaanite?
A Canaanite.
Very good. Next question. How did you come to this planet?
We walk
Once more, how did you come to this planet?
in a spaceship.
Excellent. My colleagues and I are satisfied that the mechanism is effective. Now, I shall ask our distinguished guest to reply to the question put forth by several UN delegates, namely, What is the motive for the Canaanites in offering so many gifts to the people of Earth?
On my tongue, there is a saying. There are more riddles in a stone than in a philosopher's head. The motives of intelligent beings, though they may at times appear obscure or simple compared to the complex workings of the natural universe. Therefore, I hope that the people of Earth will understand and believe when I tell you that our mission upon this planet is simply this, to bring to you the peace and plenty which we ourselves enjoy, and which we have brought to other races throughout the galaxies. When your world has no more hunger, no more war, no more needless suffering, that will be our reward.
Thank you. Most profound.
There you have it, gentlemen. Lights, please.
I should like to pose a question.
Yes, Grigori.
Who is responsible for that circus?
I assure you, Grigori, the tests were quite genuine.
A circus, a second-rate farce. If they were genuine, Mr. Secretary, why has debate been stifled?
There'll be time for discussion tomorrow, the next day, and throughout the week. No one is stifling debate.
I would remind the delegate from Russia that everything the Canaanite has promised is not only work, but work beyond our expectations. The force field that was tested yesterday morning, nothing could get through. And suddenly we find ourselves in a brave new age when none of us